Hi, it's Lou and Recovery Mom, and I wanted to make a few videos specifically talking about very specific issues in eating disorders. And then of course, if you had some questions, you can put them, down below in the comments, and we will have comments answered as well. So today we're going to answer a very specific question about
why am I afraid of certain foods or whole food groups?
Okay, so let's talk about this. Why would a person with anorexia be afraid of specific food groups or foods? So it's extremely common when you have an eating disorder or anorexia to have fears around entire food groups or foods. So for example, in my eating disorder, I was very afraid of your normal things I think that most people with eating disorders are afraid of, like fats, high calorie foods. I had an irrational fear of bananas, which I think a lot of us do. I'm not sure why. That's an unusual one.
It's the potassium.
Anyway, let's see what else.
Oh no.
Like breads, carbs, like we're all kind of afraid of the same foods. So there's a specific reason. One reason, there's many reasons, but there's a specific reason why we're afraid of this food. When you have an eating disorder, and I'll try not to talk about this in all of my videos, but I will mention that when you do have an eating disorder, it's a biological evolutionary thing that happens to you. And so what happens is your leptin falls, which causes your hormones and your neurotransmitters to all shift.
What is leptin?
In a way, it's like a hormone that regulates your feeding and hunger. And so in a normal starving body, it would do one thing, stay the same or whatever. But when you have anorexia, it falls. And then it causes all these other hormones and neurotransmitters to shift in a way that a normal starving body doesn't. And one of the things that happens to your body is you have a peptide YY hormone, okay, called PPY. And that hormone...
It's PYY. It's not a PP.
Thank you. PYY. And it is abnormally increased, okay, when you have an eating disorder. So if you don't have an eating disorder and you start going into energy deficit and starving, that PYY hormone, right,
go.
In a normal person would decrease. For us, when you have anorexia, that hormone increases. And what that hormone is for, in a normal body, it's produced in your digestive tract, okay? And the higher the fat, the higher the calorie food, the higher the PYY is produced, okay? Increased. But for us with anorexia, it's already increased abnormally, okay? So this increase causes your gut to slow down, and it causes your appetite to slow down, especially in relationship to high calorie and high fat foods, okay? So your body tends to think that it's had enough high calorie, high fat foods. It's not a thought that you have in your brain. Your brain isn't going, ooh, I've had enough high calorie, high fat foods. These are signals that this hormone is sending you from within your body, okay, from your digestive tract. So it causes you to have this conditioned aversion to high fat, high calorie foods. So you start to fear them, not want to be around them. Pretty soon your amygdala gets lit up whenever you see them. So you start having a real response because of this hormone.
What is your amygdala?
Your amygdala, your lizard brain spot, your
what
fight.
Does it do?
It's like your fight or flight spot of your brain. Oh, you're quizzing me. I love it.
I'm not quizzing you. I'm just trying to understand.
Oh, it's like your fight or flight spot. So it's like if a lion were to come in the room, your amygdala would go, bah, fear, fight, flight, or no, it's a fawn,
going
right?
Into a restaurant, yeah.
Yeah. So some of us would curl up and just, that's my plan under any horrible circumstance. I'm just gonna end it in any.
I don't know if we can say that on YouTube, actually.
Okay.
Never mind.
Well, yeah. Well,
I'm definitely not gonna do that.
Okay. Well, I always told my husband if there was a natural disaster, I would be the first one to curl up in a ball and just go. And he was just wouldn't you want to fight? And I was like, no.
It's the end of the world. What are we fighting for?
Yeah. I was just.
All the yummy food's gone.
Do you think that's
What's
bad?
the point? No, because all the yummy food's gone. I won't be able to eat sweet and sour chicken anymore.
Do you even relate or understand people that want to survive that?
I mean, I guess. Like, I don't understand it, but,
Yeah.
like, I can understand their, like, wanting to, because that's who they are. But it's also who I am to not want to do those kinds of things.
No, I don't want to do that either. It just sounds hard, and then harder. So, anywho. so you start creating this response in your amygdala to fats, to high calorie foods, to these things because of the increase of PYY that's in your gut, in your digestive tract, okay? So that's where this fear of high fat, high calorie foods comes from. It's not a coincidence that we're all afraid of the same stuff. I mean, if anorexia were really caused because we had controlling mothers or like, you know, some psychological reason like that, we wouldn't all have the same symptoms, but we all have the same symptoms. So that's the reason that we're afraid of these foods, okay? So now that you know, though, why we're afraid of these foods, you do have to do something about it. And I say this all the time, but the only way to re-regulate these hormones is to start eating again and to eat enough and to eat regularly to turn off that genetic predisposition to anorexia, okay? That's the only way. The reason that you're in this position is because you went into energy deficit. And by going into energy deficit, like, I don't mean that you became severely underweight. You can be any weight and have an eating disorder. It just means that you were not giving your body enough energy than it needed at that time. And if you have the genetic predisposition for an eating disorder, that evolutionary component is going to switch on and your anorexia will come out. When that happens, your PYY will raise, your digestive tract will start creating that hormone too much, which will make you have this like crazy aversion to fats and high calorie foods, which will start your amygdala to light off whenever you're around them. And then before you know it, you cannot be around those foods without freaking out. And you're just literally eating baby bell peppers and spinach, which is all I ate.
It's mustard.
With mustard, yeah.
And vinegar.
The anorexic meal. So anyway, I don't know if I can say that on this video either.
Well, we did.
But we did. So anyway, now that we've covered why you feel that way, you still have to get yourself out of this position. And the only way to do that, like I said, is to eat. And not just to eat, but to eat regularly and all day and starting early and multiple times a day. And if you do that, and not just for like a day or two, but you have to do it for a long time. And when you do that, you'll re-regulate those hormones, okay? And pretty soon you'll find that it's not so hard to eat those foods. They will still be fear foods because you've also, you know, taught your brain to be afraid of those foods. Now your brain is afraid of those foods as well. So even when you turn your hormone back the right way so that your PYY is decreased again and it secretes at the right time, even when that happens, now you're left with your brain that still has all those memories of being afraid of the fats and the high calorie foods. So then it's just a matter of eating them, desensitizing yourself to them, and going through all of those fear foods. But that does become a lot easier, okay, when you've gained enough weight and gotten to your set point so that that evolutionary component can turn off, okay? Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Did you just dissociate the whole time?
No.
Oh. All right. Do you have any questions?
I do not.
Okay, so my friends.
This will be in a pamphlet.
Yes. Oh, yes, I am making a pamphlet. So when it's done, I will give everybody, I'll give everybody an electronic copy to make their own copy. It's expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive.
But I just feel like it's really important for everyone out there with an eating disorder to know this is why you're afraid of those foods. It didn't just miraculously happen. We all aren't afraid of the same thing for some random, you know, for a random.
Because you chose to be afraid of that.
Yeah, we didn't choose to be afraid of it. There's an actual reason why we're afraid of these foods. So anyway, this is why we're afraid of it. You do have to fight, and it sucks that you're in this position. You didn't ask for it, but boom, here we are. You have an eating disorder, and you're the one that's going to have to get out of it. But we'll talk about that another day. If you do have any questions or something didn't make sense, please let me know. I will clarify. I am on TikTok and I do do some lives there? Are we going to put our live on YouTube?
Sure.
Okay, so maybe I'll download my last live onto YouTube so that you guys can kind of check out an informal chat that we do in case you want to kind of listen to some questions and answers that we have there. But yeah, hang out and recover with Lou and Mom. Mom and Lou.
Recovery Mom.
Mom and Lou. Lou and Mom. Okay. See you next time. See you next time. Next time we'll talk about why do I feel full quickly when I eat a normal amount of food. Dun, dun, dun.
It's like the cliffhanger at the end of an episode. Except with eating disorders.
Oh my God.